Hey, all you cinema buffs out there, I'm Dennis Stack bringing you the review for my number one favorite Stephen King movie of all time. Now, my number three choice was The Green Mile, my number two choice was The Shining, and this week's clue was a dead person. Of course, that could be just about any Stephen King work, but let's see, what do we got left? It's not Pet Cemetery, it's not Gage Creed's dead body I'm talking about. It's not Andy Dufresne's dead wife from The Shawshank Redemption. Believe it or not, that's not my number one, and it didn't even make it to my top three. No, I'm talking about the dead body of Ray Bowers, the kid from Stand By Me. So here we are, just a few days away from It, the new Stephen King adaptation, and I'm so glad to be talking about my favorite of all time, Stand By Me. Now, I know this probably is kind of a little off the wall choice. This isn't your traditional Stephen King kind of story. It's not horror, it's not supernatural. But even though this is a non traditional Stephen King story, there are traditional elements in this story. Like, first of all, it takes place in the town of Castle Rock. And also, there is a character who's dealing with the loss of a family member recently. And also, just the group of kids coming together and kind of going on an adventure. You know, it was to fight the ultimate horror in It. With this one, it's to go on an adventure, discover a dead body that's been missing, maybe be heroes for finding it. And I think that this movie, just top to bottom, the children acting in this, Corey Feldman, Will Wheaton, River Phoenix, Jerry O'Connell, even Kiefer Sutherland in this movie, just fantastic. I think it's the best child acting ensemble of all time. Yes, even including movies like The Goonies, where that also has great children acting. I think that I'll give the edge to Stand By Me because these characters go through a lot more diverse motions. You know, you see Chris Chambers break down, you see Gordy LaChance break down, and just every character has their moment, and these characters are memorable. They're all very distinct from one another, and I love how this movie shows who the characters are through their actions. Yes, Gordy LaChance, as an adult who's narrating the movie, you know, Richard Dreyfuss, he tells, you know, he gives a little backstory on the characters, his friends, and everything, but through their actions, how they react to these situations, this is how you really get to know these characters. And I just gotta say that I think Rob Reiner might be one of the best, if not the best director of the 1980s. Because before this, he had Spinal Tap. Afterwards, he gave us Princess Bride, When Harry Met Sally, Misery, another great Stephen King adaptation. I mean, this dude was just knocking it out of the park in the 1980s, and I think that this is his best movie ever. But also, what really carries this movie is the script. I think the dialogue between the characters just perfectly captures the essence of friendship at a pre-adolescent age. Just the banter between the characters when they have that chat about who could win in a fight, Mighty Mouse versus Superman, just about anything that comes out of Corey Feldman's mouth. It's just absolutely funny, and it really, even watching it now as an adult, I can look back on that and be like, yep, those are me and my friends at that time. And I think that this is an important movie to watch both as a child and then later when you grow up as an adult, because this is the story of a man looking back on his life when he was this age and this group of friends and this adventure that they went on as an adult. And so I think that it hits all the right notes, nostalgic wise, if you're an adult, and it hits all the right notes. It really connects to you as a kid when you watch this. Even if, this takes place in the 50s, 60s, so even if it's 50 years later, like it is today, you can watch this as a child and still connect with these characters and still connect with the situations that they're in. And although this is kind of like a coming of age story, there are some great moments in it. It isn't all just, dialogue, even though the dialogue is great. There's the train sequence, which it's still riveting. I knew, of course, I've seen this movie a couple times. I knew how it was all going to play out. I'm still sitting there sweating, just like waiting for Gordy to get across and with Vern, and just my heart was racing, even though I knew it was going to happen. But it's just very well shot, very well directed sequence by Rob Reiner. And once again, I got to give it up to his direction. He really knows how to make heartfelt movies, and even actors in smaller roles like Marshall Bell as Gordy's dad, John Cusack as his dead brother when he shows up in flashbacks. Even those moments are just great. It's just that he took every shot, every scene, and he put heart into it, one way or the other. Whether the characters are confessing things to one another, they're just bringing up their biggest fears and the things that really drive them, what make them want to be the way they are. It's just all these moments are handled so well and just with real touch and emotion.
Buff.
Alright guys, so I think I gushed about this movie enough, and I gave The Shining a couple weeks ago a 10 out of 10. It's my second favorite Stephen King movie. So what else would I give this movie? This movie truly is a perfect 10 out of 10. If you watched it as a kid, and especially if you have kids now, go back and watch this movie. It's still just as good. It's still just as heart-wrenching and emotional and fun. It's just a great adventure, not to mention a cool breeze of 90 minutes. They don't make movies this great under 90 minutes anymore.
Buff.
All right, guys, so that's it for my number one favorite Stephen King movie of all time. Thank you so much for joining me on these series. Appreciate all the comments, all the views, and any new subscribers that we might have got as well. So be sure to join us this Friday. The big one's finally coming out. Me and Nate are hoping to get scared out of our wits when we go see the new adaptation of Stephen King's It. We'll bring you that review this Friday, but until then, don't you forget, there's no place like the theater.